Bob McGee, who is one of our senior sales consultants here. Bob has been kind enough to be one of my mentors, so I asked him to sit on the panel today and explain to you how the process begins. Melanie Roenick is my favorite and best project coordinator in the entire project at David Weekley Homes. Not that I'm partial. And Melanie's going to talk to you a little bit about how she interacts with the customers. Jennifer Ivey is one of our degreed designers. Jennifer is fabulous. She can actually tell what people are thinking even before they know what they're thinking, which is really kind of different. And Jennifer's going to talk to you about preview night and the design appointment. Dion Tyler, oh, I'm sorry, Tommy. Oh, I skipped. That's terrible. Now I'm in trouble. Tommy Davis, again, one of our senior builders. Tommy's going to talk to you a little bit about the homeowner meetings that take place. We have Dion Tyler, our home warranty representative. One of the other unique features with David Weekley is we have in-house warranty. They don't go to an outside company. So Dion will touch on that. And then last but not least, my boss, Ryan Bennett, who is our project manager, who we all answer to, who takes us to the woodshed if we don't do what we're supposed to do when we're supposed to do it. So I'm going to turn it over to the panel. They're each going to give you a 5 to 10 minute snapshot of what their position is, what their role is, how they interact with the clients, and then we'll open it up for questions and answers at the end. Bob?
Okay. What she said. She pretty much covered everything I do. But the most important thing that we do as sales consultants is we listen. When your client comes in, we're information gatherers. We find out what that customer is looking for. Are they looking for, first of all, we find out whether they have land or they need to buy land. That's important. Second thing is, what are they looking for in a home? Are they looking for a single story, 2-story, how many square feet? Where are they coming from? Are they leasing? Or do they own a home? How big is that home? How do they use that home? Do they have children? Do they have pets? All of those things have to be compiled to make it work between David Weekley and your client. So that once we get that information, then we start talking about more specifics about the type of home. Do you want a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom? Do you want a bonus room? All those kind of things. And then once we find that out, then we start talking about specific plans that they may be interested in. We like to start with one of our 28 standard plans, but when we do that, we also, our custom end of our build on your lot makes us want to change that. And makes our customers say, okay, I like this plan, it's pretty much what I want, but I want to move the kitchen, or I want to move the bathroom, or I want to expand it, or whatever comes up in that conversation, then that's fine. We can do those kind of things. We can not only just use minor, or move a wall or something, or we can blow the house completely up and only keep the outside walls and rearrange everything, which I've done several times now. So, you know, it's a kind of like she said, it's a hybrid, but yet we kind of focus on the custom end of it because our customers, I don't think I've ever built a standard plan, and I don't think any of us have. There's always something that somebody wants to change. So we look at those things, we try to gather that information, try to focus in on a couple of different plans. If that doesn't happen during the initial meeting, they get a packet, they understand our exact specifications, they know, we give them, you know, in the packet it talks about our included features list. So we know that we're not the only builder out there, so we know they're going to talk to other builders. We hope not, but they probably are. And so that they compare apples to apples, because we do things differently than other builders. We include some things that other builders charge for. So we want to make sure that they understand that when they leave. And then we follow up after they leave. We follow up with them within a few days and see, you know, what they're thinking and how the meeting went and everything, and try to get obviously another meeting. And that's pretty much it, other than the fact that during this process, you know, if they contract with us, or even if they say, well, there's a good possibility of it, we will go out at no cost and visit their lot. We will even take one of our senior builders out there, Tommy's done it with me several times, and look at their lot and evaluate it with them. If they're looking for a piece of property and they can't choose between two because they're not sure which one's the better lot for them, we can assist in that too. Some other builders charge for that kind of service, we don't. And that's pretty much what we do as a sales consultant.
Oh, a question in the front.
Yes.
Can you elaborate geographically where Weekley can operate and build? Because I
Well,
was really impressed with.
Yeah, we're basically about 55 miles out from San Antonio in any direction. We'll go down to Pleasanton, we'll go over to as far as Lavernia and Poth and in that area. Seguin, you come up around, we go over to New Braunfels. We really hit on the outside edge of San Marcos, and the river is pretty much our boundary line there. When you're coming across on the north side, Blanco is our boundary line, and then around to Castroville, and then back around to Pleasanton. That's it.
Let me answer this in an even easier way. Inside every one of your packets is a copy of our built on your lot map.
I think I should include that in
I just wanted to see if you could do it. I was very impressed.
I know my geography.
There is a copy of the map. However, we are updating the map as we speak. Aaron and Brian and I are working on it. So what you do need to know is that we have included a couple of extra areas, including Bernie and Bandera. So at this point, the map does not show that is in our purview, but it is. Okay?
I saw you have it on the wall earlier on the screen, but building allowances, what do you mean by the allowance?
We don't do allowances. That's what a custom builder usually does. We actually do inclusions. We give your client a list of all of the features that are included in the base price of the home.
Okay.
So until they start adding on or making changes, here are our base prices and this is what each one of our houses include.
Is that not an incentive, right?
No.
It's just the allowance.
Incentives will vary by the time of year. Incentives will vary on different promotions. You just have to talk to us about what's the current incentive at the time.
So the best thing to call you to find out?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
What's the minimum square footage that you would?
We in our lineup currently, our smallest single story is 1833 square feet. Our largest two-story is 5280, somewhere in there. But that doesn't mean that we focus on only those plans. We have literally hundreds of plans that we've built in the past, and we can go to the archives and find one that's gonna fit your client's needs.
Okay.
And if your client already has their own plans and they have the release on those plans and have CAD drawings, they can bring us their plans. We can do a full custom too, as long as it meets our parameters and our building standards. So we can work with them. Obviously, it's better for them if they don't already have them in advance, not to go out and spend the money getting architectural renderings drawn. We've already included that in our base price.
You mentioned incentives, and he brings them to you. They haven't done their financing and everything. How long are the incentives?
The incentive is at the time that is being offered at the time they contract on their initial contract, and that's good for 90 days. Okay, they do have to start their build within 90 days to retain the price and the incentives, because like everything else, prices change, incentives change, so that we do ask that they start their build within the first 90 days. Okay, next up. Oh, sorry.
You have a lot in a floodplain. Do you do anything different as far as engineering?
I'm actually going to let Tommy answer that question.
It depends.
All right, answer that.
It depends.
It depends.
What type of floodplain is it? 100-year? Is it just a stated on a plat floodplain? What we typically do is get our engineer involved, and we lean on the professionals at that point. We want them to go out, and we have done in certain circumstances, we've gone out and we've moved homes over and built on it with an elevated slab. But typically, we like to have that conversation in advance about floodplains. We do have buyers that come in with with lots that we find out afterwards, but since we're usually in the process early and we're helping them with their lots, we don't have that many circumstances usually.
Thank you, Tom.
Do you go with like a certificate of elevation before, go and pull and hire foundation?
Yeah, I'll answer your question at the end, because I'm gonna go in kind of our process and like what we have internally, so I'll cover your question at the very end.
Okay.
So next up, we have Melanie Reddick, who is our project coordinator, and I asked Melanie to just talk to you a little bit about what happens once we put the client under initial contract and to take it from there.
Hi, Melanie. So I'm kind of the central hub for your client between all of the different people in Weekley. I coordinate everything with the designer, the builder, the sales, everything. So my first initial contact with your client will be to set up their design appointments. I'll contact them. I have access to Jennifer and Misty, our designers' calendars, figure out what times work best for them to get that scheduled and get them to come in. I'm also going to be gathering all of the necessary items for the HOA approvals that we'll need. Usually this includes your plot plan, showing your plot of land, where the house is going to be located, an engineered foundation, the plans, the job-specific plans with the flex space options that they've chosen, all that kind of stuff. I'm also the one who processes all the contracts to make sure all the signatures are there and all the I's are dotted. And then I also work with the lenders to get the construction documents set up, as well as the title company to get the closing scheduled, and do all of that kind of stuff. Once the home has started and everything is ready, I kind of step away from the process, and then once we get closer to closing the home, I kind of step back in, and I'm the one who's there who just kind of closes out the loan with the lender. I have most of my experience in two-time closings, which Lisa was talking about. Is it Lisa? Linda, sorry.
That's her name.
Yeah.
My sister's name is Lisa.
Oh,
Her name is Tyler. That's what
Sorry. But then I'll get back involved in the process to close out that construction loan, make sure everything's finished up, and then if needed, I can help get rolled into the permanent loan, but I usually kind of step away and the lender takes care of that. So I'm involved on many different facets and always kind of there. A lot of times once I've contacted the buyer just to set up appointments, I get a lot of questions sometimes that come my way, and I'm always happy to help. So that's my general role.
Thank you. Next up, our wonderful designer and mind reader.
Okay, so once Melanie sets up the appointments, we have two 3-hour appointments with us. And that we normally, especially with building your lot, we like them kind of separated between a couple of days to kind of, they can come back with like a fresh brain. Because that first appointment, what we do is we cover colors, and that would be cabinets, countertops, flooring, interior paint. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you do it for 4 bathrooms and a kitchen, it can kind of get tiring. And we go over numbers with them. That's the good thing about everything with us is that our plans are, before they come to the design center, they are pre-priced. So we should have all the cabinet pricing and everything right there at their hands. And so when they leave, they normally know exactly how much they have upgraded on options, if they did at all. We've done a lot of nice included feature homes, so they don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money because our included features are very nice. And at the second appointment we cover plumbing, lights, appliances, front doors, a little bit of electrical, and cabinet details. That takes a little time in that second appointment. And then at the very end, what they do is we review it, make sure that they're in budget, wanting to stay, everybody has a budget to stay in, and so we make sure that they stay in that, and they sign off with us, and then they're handed back to the salesperson. But we also offer, before a home buyer goes on contract, we also offer preview night, which is every other Tuesday, and what they do is they get to come in and they get to review all the included features. So we kind of do, not any pricing questions or anything like that at that point, but we basically kind of show them, this is the cabinet you get, this is the, so they can have a really good idea of budget when they do get in there. They also get a personal website with us that they can, we have a wish list that they can go in and review and look at options, priced out, level 4 wood or level 2 carpet. They can compare pricing before they even walk in the doors of the design center. And that's pretty much it for us.
Thank you very much. And next up, Tom Davis, one of our senior builders.
How y'all doing this morning? Well, obviously, there's been 3 people before me that have done a lot of work, and so we have there's a lot of communication going on between us before it gets to me. When we have our initial meeting, that is actually the first time that I'll meet your client, and at that time, then I'll establish a relationship with them, or attempt to. I'm usually been pretty successful with it. Because my job, my number 1 job here at David Weekley is customer satisfaction. I can build a couple a perfect home, and if I haven't satisfied them at the end, then I've simply failed. Our whole team has failed. So we get that out of the way, and I set some expectations with them. I'll have 3 actually official meetings with my clients. That would be the pre-construction meeting, the pre-drywall meeting, and then our final walkthrough. Now, in that first pre-construction meeting, they'll get my business card, they'll have full access to me. Not quite 24/7, but some of them do. I've had some late night calls, but that's my job. They have full access to me through email, texting, or phone calls. So I obviously have a lot more contact with the clients than just our 3 official meetings. But those 3 meetings all have a purpose. They'll have general questions through the construction process. The pre-construction meeting is very detailed, usually lasts 2 to 3 hours. We'll go over, I'll go over the inspection process with my homeowners, what that looks like to them on building on your lot. We go through the same inspection process that we would if we were building in the city of San Antonio. We differ, and these are internal inspections that we go through. I'll set some expectations, what they can expect to see, and then we'll look at their selections, which Jennifer went through with them. We'll go over that, make sure I'm putting the right colors in their home, and then we'll take the plans that I'm actually going to make copies of and hand out to my trades. We'll do a red line. I'll go room by room, add electrical, take away, whatever they would like to do at that time. They'll sign off on those plans, and then I'll make copies and get them out to my trades. Anyone have any questions on that before I move on?
I'd like to know, just from the Realtor experience and background, percentage-wise, about how many Realtors do you see actually going through the process with the clients, and percentage-wise, how many feel comfortable just truly passing the ball?
Wow, I probably have, I have a lot of homes that I don't have a realtor involved in. I would probably say 50% I have a realtor involved with, something like that. A lot of them just walk in and see the salespeople, and the realtor can be involved in as little or as much as they want. It doesn't really matter to me. My focus is really on the homeowner. It's, no one else but them, if that answers your question.
It does.
The next meeting that I'll have with our clients is called our pre-drywall meeting, and it's usually, again, about a 2-hour meeting, depending on the size of the home, obviously. And at that time, I've got the home ready to sheetrock. I've gone through all of our internal inspections as far as our insulation inspections for our green build, and our third-party inspection that we hire independently from David Weekley. We've gone through those inspections. I have all of their mechanicals in, frame in, roof up. We're ready to sheetrock. The realtors sometimes are there, sometimes they're not. This depends on their schedule that day. I'll walk the home in 3 phases. We'll walk the plumbing, the architectural, and the electric, phone, and TV. Obviously, the electric phone and TV is the most detailed, but I will walk through every circuit in the home with the homeowners. This switch works this light. There's your phone, there's your TV. At that time, they have the opportunity to make any adjustments that they can kind of see how their furniture is going to fit in their home. So we have a little bit of time before we start sheetrocking, before they'll, if they need to make an electrical change or a phone, TV, something like that. Then we'll move on. I'll start getting all the pretty colors in and all that, and we'll do our final walkthrough. One of our key things at David Weekley Home is to build a complete home. There will not be a list at closing of a 5, 10, or 15 item Tommy to-do list. Their home will be 100% complete when I give them the keys to their home. It's just that simple. That's a non-negotiable with David Weekley. That's how we simply do business. We'll walk the home. We usually do that a couple of days before they're ready to receive the keys. If there are any items, I'll take care of those. If they're not, I'll give them the keys that day. And we do that quite commonly. And just in saying this process, all of our build on your lot builders, we have 4 of them. We've all served our time in the subdivisions, kind of per se. So we know what that looks like. And these things that you'll see on Build on Your Lot, you should see in the subdivisions as well. Our builders that we have working there, if you do happen to sell a David Weekley lot and home in one of our subdivisions, you'll see the exact same process. That's kind of what it looks like in a nutshell.
Thank you, Tommy.
Real quick.
And Dion Tyler is one of our home warranty reps and is the home warranty representative for Build on Your Lot.
Hello. He forgot his last meeting he has with you. When he does the final walkthrough as a builder, he'll call me up and introduce me, and we'll show you there's
I
going
was
to
just
be.
leaving that for you.
Well, appreciate it. There's going to be a handoff. As he was mentioning earlier, we are all as a team together, so I have the avenues to go to the salesperson if I have any questions from a homeowner's perspective, or go back to the design center or anything. We all speak with one voice across the board. Tommy, or either the senior builders, or any of the builders for Building Your Lot will contact me. I'll meet the homeowner before they get the keys to the home, introduce myself, and we'll set up one last meeting that they have, and it's called a warranty orientation, where we come in, we sit down at their table with them, and you can see my books well used. We'll go over a care and maintenance guide. It doesn't tell you exclusively everything's covered from bumper to bumper, but we'll go into the details of the workmanship 1-year material warranty. We'll go over the details of the major mechanical warranty for 2 years, and we'll go over the details of the structural 10-year foundation warranty. And we'll talk about manufacturer issues, common issues, and common care and maintenance of the home. There's a care and checklist calendar that we'll go over to tell them what to be checking on a seasonal basis list. And then if there are, even though, like Tommy was indicating, we close completed homes, once you move into a home, you may notice something that nobody has at that point seen. And not only has Tommy walked it, we've had third-party inspectors walk it, we've had the PM walk it, warranties also walk the home before the keys are given. And even though we're all looking for certain things, you move in as a new homeowner, you may see something or hear something that you're thinking, that's just not right. We'll take a look at that, we'll figure out what's going on. So we'll have a transition period where we're breaking the builder off and giving all of our customers one avenue to go to. We have a centralized warranty database in San Antonio that it goes through our division office, and at that point they'll open a call with the warranty reps, and we'll contact them and go out and inspect the issue, determine if it's warrantable or not, and go from there. And then we reach out closer to the first year. We tell them not to take it wrong, we're not harassing them, we want to check in with them, and if there's nothing for them to give us, that's great, we're just checking in, but 9 times out of 10 they have something they want to ask us about, they've been meaning to, kept forgetting to, so we'll reach out periodically throughout that first year. Important, for us to make sure that they know we're still there, that we're not a builder that took their money at the curb and kicked them away saying, here's your list of vendors, that we're going to be there to help them out as much as we possibly can.
And last but not least, our project manager, Ryan Bennett.
Thank you. And CJ was wrong. I have a terrific team. I taking them out to the shed. All I do is ask questions, and this team here does. They run the show. I'm going to answer both y'all's questions kind of together as I go. You asked about the plane flooding, and you asked about the slab, like I guess an elevation check, or okay. I'm going to go through our internal processes, more of like the inspections, our quality control. I'm also going to talk about some of the other municipalities and stuff. They go together. You know, in a building of a home, they're all kind of scheduled out, but I'll cover those points as we go. Every single lot or home site that we build on before we build gets a core sample. It's called a soils test. So we send an engineer out there, and they provide a soil test of it, and it's a 50-page synopsis of the soils. And so at that point, if we see something on a lot that doesn't make sense, maybe it's bad soils, hot soils, we at that point, that's the first red flag we have going to a home site, that something might not be right or this might not be a good lot. Okay. The second thing we do is, as the teams talked about earlier, is the sales consultant and the buyer and the builder will go off the lot and start looking at placement of the home. At that time, that's the first time a builder is going to look at the lot, or myself. I was at one yesterday in Mystic Shores looking at one because we had some concerns with the soil conditions and topography. That's the first time we get a look at something and saying, okay, we got a hill coming off over here, I'm in a bowl, is this a floodplain? Okay, so we're getting a visual inspection of that. After that, we set the form, or I'm sorry, we go out and set the pins for the home where the buyer wants to put the home. It might be moved later, but we set those up. At that point, we do what's called a lot unique check. The builder goes out with the sales consultant and they do a site unique check. We look at all the variables out there, the height of the slab, drainage, driveway placement, utilities, any incremental cost or any variables in the building that we're looking at now. Drainage is a big one. So if it's a floodplain, there's again another red flag right there to look at, saying, okay, we've got to look at the plot plan and maybe get a survey done. After we've done the site unique and we've got the home placed, we send that to the engineer. The engineer will come out and they will do, it's a survey company also, they'll do a survey on it. So they will, we told them where the home is going to be placed, they will come out and do a survey and create a plot plan off of that. Now we have a working document that everybody that touches the home, internally, externally, everybody, the lender sees that we have something there, okay? If we had a thought that there was a floodplain issue with the engineers, when we would have started that process with them to get maybe a total plat of the community or some kind of documentation, you know, previously from that, okay? Fast forward now, what we're gonna do is we're starting the home, okay? We have what's called a setback inspection, and that is bringing the engineer back out, and he's checking the elevations of the slab. It is a checks and balance to make sure that we don't set a slab too low. If we're in a bowl, or if something's not right, let's say that we have the garage way too high and we're going to make the driveway too steep. Again, we rely on the professionals there to come and tell us. Hopefully we shouldn't have had that, and we haven't had that, but that's why we have the engineer come out. A lot of builders don't do that now. A lot of the custom guys are just letting their superintendents roll with what they want. The next inspection we have is called a pre-pour inspection, and that is once the slab's made up, they come out and the engineer will come out and look at the slab, make sure everything's kosher, make sure that, you know, it's ready to pour. And so that's all said and done. We pour the slab. We start framing the slab. Like CJ was saying earlier, EFL is a big deal to us. Energy efficiency, the green program is a big deal to us. And we have a company, Environments for Living, EFL, that comes out and does the inspections for the energy and for the green part of our home. At that same time, we also have Burgess, which is a construction consultant that is a third party that we've been married to for 10, 12 years now, Tommy, a long time. And I know the builders probably, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think personally, Burgess is tougher on our standards than the city inspectors are. I think if you ask any of our builders, and in builders in the industry, they think that most city inspectors are jokes. They're just stating what their last course that they took were. Whereas Burgess is really, they're honed in on our, what we call BTWW, which is Building the Weekley Way, their codes, municipalities, and also quality control. I mean, they pick apart a lot of our things that they know about our weekly homes. So we'll have the frame inspection, and we'll have the EFL inspection done at that time. It's a combination of poly and bad insulation inspection. It's a combination of the whole frame, basically whole home. Yeah, duct, and then they'll move to the sheathing inspection. So we have a zero tolerance policy. Until those items are complete, the builder cannot move on. So It's not one of those things where, oh, it's not that big of a deal and it's just a nail gun on the wire. They can't move on. We have zero tolerance on that. So when we talk about seeing behind the walls with our buyers, the inspectors rule our world at that point, okay? And so we have to get that complete before we cover it up. One of the things we do at David Weekley is it's called a pre-carpet walk. And what that is before flooring is the last thing you put in carpet, and what is the last major thing that goes into a home. What we do in Build On Your Lot is we do a pre-carpet walk. And that's myself going out to a job site and walking the frame. We do a lot of rebuilds or a lot of custom builds where we need to incorporate the Weekleyisms. We need to make sure that we didn't cut corners or do something that doesn't fit with David Weekley. David Weekley himself has walked homes and said this is not what we stand for, and I need to enforce that. So what we do is a pre-carpet walk, and what that means is if I walk in and the arch is not masked out properly, we're going to rip it out. We're going to do it properly. And so we want to do that before we put wood and carpet in. And so that's the importance of doing a pre-carpet walk. When we get to the final stages of the home, this is where a lot of people start coming into the home. We again bring Burgess back in. We bring EFL back in. We bring any city inspectors back in. And then we also bring in, Dion comes into every home, and I come into every home at that point. And we do a joint walk where we walk the home with the builder, with the sales consultant, without the buyer, and what we're doing is quality control. We're basically picking the home apart. Dion's looking for a lot of things that I'm not. He's making sure, stuff that's warrantable. I'm looking more at the aesthetics, making sure the home is right. We create a list for the builder. The builder, again, has to take care of that list before closing. And so the one thing that Tommy said earlier, just to clarify, in a community, if everybody's familiar with a community, prior to closing, it's done differently. Closing is done on the front end on Build On Your Lot. So we can actually walk the buyer at the end of this process and have the home signed off, but until that last item is complete, we're not handing the keys over. In a community, you're closing at the very end, going to closing. So it's a little different process. So what we do here, we have a lot of people in and out of the home at the same time the buyer might be walking the home at the end. Okay, but again, what I said a second ago, we need to have a complete home. So before, what Tommy reiterated is handing the keys over, the home is complete. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, everything is done on your list, and then he hands the keys over. Again, Dion and I walk the list. I re-walk every PM walk, so it's called a project manager walk. I come back and walk Dion's list, my list, make sure if there's any open Burgess items, any open frame inspections, any open city items, making sure EFL is signed off. Everything is completely done prior to signing off the home. When I click the home signed off, that is now acceptance for Tommy or the builders to be able to insure the home to the buyer or to move forward with closing. Okay, so there's a lot of things going on there where we're communicating as a team. Is the home signed off? Yes, we're good. Is financing okay? Is this okay? Where are we at on this? And then at that point, we allow the closing to take place, the final closing. One of the last things that David Weekley does is we send in a plumber at the very, very end. This is after I've even walked the home. We send in the plumber to do a camera inspection, and he basically removes a toilet, goes through the house with the camera, does visual inspections because everybody knows, everybody's been in homes that under construction, rags and stuff gets thrown down there. Being a septic, you're more susceptible to it. So what we do is a CSI inspection. We call the camera inspection the very, very end of the build. So that's basically it in a nutshell.
Thank you, Ryan. I also do not want to forget today to introduce you to and say a huge thank you to our marketing director, Erin Harrington. Without Erin, we would not all be here today. She was absolutely one of our best team players when it came to putting this all together. And this is our very first Realtor Build On Your Lot workshop, so we're very pleased and thank you very, very much for all your help. A couple different things just before I finish up. There are gift bags for each one of you that have our business cards and some other information and just some goodies for you to say thank you for coming. I know Aaron handed each one of you a card when you came in. That's actually a $10 gas card because we do appreciate that you had to drive to come here today. So thank you very much. Linda has helped us out with a lot of this, and we want to thank Legacy for being here because I know, again, there is a big difference. For those of you who would like to stay, please feel free. You can ask all of us as many questions as you'd like. We did stop early so that we would have time for questions and answers. So I'll do it from the floor first, and anybody who has to leave obviously can. Also, for those